Hey guys, welcome back to Harrison Hacks. In this video, we're releasing the Arcade HQ build for your Windows PC. Let's check it out.
Welcome Harrison Hacks.
Okay, so Arcade HQ is finally here. We're going to go ahead and check it out, get it installed. I'm going to go through with you guys step by step how we're going to do our controls and everything like that, so let's get right into it. The first thing you want to do is go to the link in the description. It's going to take you to download a simple little text file, the arcadehqlink.txt. Now, when you open up this text file, this is just a makeshift link for this video. There's going to be two different text files. So for my Patreon supporters, you guys are going to get a direct link for non-torrent downloading. And for anyone else, you are going to get a link for Arcade Punks, who hosts most of my content, except for the Patreon only stuff. I wanted to make this a public release, but I also wanted to give my Patreons solid access to a Google Drive link and stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to be doing for this release and potentially more releases in the future. But what you'll want to do, whichever link that you have, you're just going to highlight everything in the text file, just like so. You're going to want to right click, copy, and if you are a free user from YouTube, you can go ahead and go to the Arcade Punks. So you just paste it into your web browser. It's going to take you to Arcade Punks. And you can scroll down until you see the Arcade HQ release. It's either going to be an NZB file for Usenet users or a torrent file for torrent users. I mean, basically, if you want to keep the torrent alive, please seed after downloading. It's very great, it's very awesome of you to do that. Anyone that has unlimited bandwidth, please seed this torrent even though you're done downloading so that others in the community can enjoy it. And if you're a Patreon supporter, then you will have a direct Google Drive and you can just download all of the zip files. But either way, once we have it downloaded, we're all going to have the same files here. So I'm just going to show you everything just like so. So there are 142 files, and they're weighing in at about 138 gigabytes. So the one we want to focus on is the 001. You're going to want to right click on that, and with 7-zip, extract here. If you're using WinRAR, extract here. It's going to take a little bit. It is a pretty big build. And then you'll have an Arcade HQ folder, just like mine. And here's where it gets awesome. The Arcade HQ build, you can put anywhere. You can put it in a folder. You can put it on any drive. You can have it on an external drive. It's not like Vintage Collection or Hyper Arcade where you had to have it on the H drive. You can have it anywhere. Now, because I use my H drive for most of my builds and stuff, it is going to be on my H drive, but it works a lot of other places as well. So basically what you want to do is take your Arcade HQ folder that you've extracted, cut or copy, and you can choose where to place it. So you can put it in the root of your C drive if you want. You can put it in a D drive, E, F, all the way to Z. Like I said, external drive or your main hard drive, it's up to you. I'm going to paste mine in the root of H. That's just because it's my working 8 terabyte external drive, so that's where I'm going to put it. There we go. So I'll just paste. Boom. So I have Arcade HQ, and we'll go inside, and now we will launch it up and get rocking and rolling. Okay, so here we go, launching up. And our keyboard is pre-configured. So if you guys saw the preview videos for Arcade HQ, you'll see everything that goes along with it. I do want to say that this main theme right here for the menu, this is actually called Cinematics by Cali81. And when we go inside, you can see this theme here is for the arcade classics. This is all games. So we have 2,625 games total. This original theme is quite old, but I really like it, and I've modified for other themes in this build. But this is Nostalgio theme by Malfacine. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Malfacine. And if I go back, and let's say we want to check out the the Metal Slug collection. So all of the background art that you see now, this is actually bezels by Orion's Angel. Phenomenal work. I'm going to put a link to his YouTube channel in the description of this video. All the video snaps are from MU Movies. I recommend going to their site. I've signed up. I've got a lifetime membership. They've got a lot of different stuff from a lot of different creators. So any artwork or video snaps or video themes that you're looking for and a lot more, I totally recommend checking them out. But what we want to do now is we're going to set up our controller. So I am using an Xbox One controller, wireless, but whatever controller you want to use. So we're going to press tab on our keyboard. We're going to go up to controls and we're going to press enter. Now we're going to go all the way up to back, press enter, and we go down to add input. So I'm going to use the B button on my controller. So I'm going to press add input, I'm going to press enter. Now I'm going to press B on my controller, and if I press B again, I can back up. And then we'll do up, down, left, and right. So you can use your thumbstick or your D-pad, or you can use both. So if I do add input, D-pad up, and I can go to add input, press enter, and use my left thumbstick up. So now both of them are up. So we'll go back, and we're just going to keep following the same things. So we'll press enter, add input, down on my D-pad, add input, press enter, down on my left thumbstick. There we go. Same with left and right. Press enter, left, add input, left, add input, press enter. I'll press right, and we'll do it again. There we go. And for select, this is to choose a game. Press enter. I'm going to use my A button. Add input, press A. There we go. So basically, if you want to use your, change displays, what we can do is we can go to previous display. I'll press A. Add input. I use my my left bumper for this. So I'm going to add input, press my left bumper, and next display I'll use my right bumper. We can come on down here. So for configure, I don't set up a button on my controller, but if you don't want to have a keyboard set up, you could. The one I recommend using is clicking your right thumbstick like a button. So if we go to configure, add input, and I'll click my right thumbstick like a button. And that'll bring up this options menu in the future. If you want to add or remove favorites, you can set up a button for that. I usually just use my X button for that one, so I'll press X. And custom one, so this will be for searching games. So I use my Y button for this. Add input, press Y, and we should be good to go. So there we go. I'll show you guys around really quickly. So we'll go into the main section. If you press up, it's going to take you back a game, down, take you to the next game, but also left and right. Left and right will do it as well. If we want to go to the next menu, we can just press our right bumper. Now we're into the cave games. There are 29 cave games in here, and everything runs through MAME. I wanted a nice simple arcade build with as many games as possible. Everything has wheel art, box art, and video snaps. I'll press R again. We are over into Donkey Kong, so there's 8 games. Some of them you can see the wheel art looks the same, but this one has alternative levels. This one does not. We have Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong 2, Donkey Kong 3, Donkey Kong Jr. We have Pauline Edition, Crazy Kong, and then the Crazy Kong Part 2, alternate levels, and back to Donkey Kong. And we'll move on. I won't go through every single game. Here's the Neo Geo version of Double Dragon. And then we have the regular Double Dragon, love this game, Double Dragon 2, and Double Dragon 3. Killer Instinct 1 and 2. But you gotta love the artwork on these bezels. Orion's Angel does phenomenal work, and just I'm such a big fan of what he does. He has bezels for MAME, but he also has bezels for RetroArch, so I definitely recommend checking out his channel. And again, he has stuff on MU Movies. So this one here for the gun games, I went with the T2 theme. I think it looks fantastic. So these are all your light gun games, 102. This one here is the Metal Slug collection. So I'll start with Metal Slug, Metal Slug 2, Metal Slug 3, 4, 4 plus, which is just like a hack 5, 5 plus, and 6 is a hack of 3. And then we have X. Here's some Mortal Kombat. So I put 1, 2, 3, 3 Ultimate, and 4. Here we have the Neo Geo collection. There's 145 Neo Geo games in here. Again, really like the bezel. Think it looks pretty awesome. Here is Pac-Man. So this one here we have 14 games. We have Pac-Man, Pac-Man Harder, Speed Up Hack, Plus, Pac-Mania, the 25th Anniversary Edition, Pac-and-Pal, Professor Pac-Man, Super Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man Speed Up Hack, the 20th Anniversary of Miss Pac-Man and Galaga, Junior Pac-Man, and Junior Pac-Man Speed Up Hack. So pretty sweet there. I like the Pac-Man games. This one here is all your racing games. We've got 159 racing games that you can check out. There's a lot of good ones. I actually plan to make a build just strictly for racing games. You know, someday when I can afford to have a separate racing game just set up with arcades. But pretty cool. This one here is all your shmups. So 432 shmups. I know there's a lot of big fans of shmups out there, and I wanted to incorporate as many as I could. So whether it's vertical, horizontal, I tried to get as many on here as I possibly could. You know, sorting through the MAME games for working and non-working is a lot of work, but honestly, it's worth it in the end. So like Batsugun and then Batsugun special version, it goes on and on and on. This one here, this is the Simpsons collection. So we have Simpsons 2 players, and then you have Simpsons 4 players. Then you have Simpsons Bowling, which is best with a trackball, but you can do it with a controller. Moe's Tapper. So this is a ROM hack of Tapper. I like putting this in here because I really enjoy playing this game. The Street Fighter collection, you got 24 different Street Fighters. Again, I won't go through every single game, but they're on here, man. We move on to Turtles. 2 players, Turtle 4 players, Turtles in Time 2 players, Turtles in Time 4 players. Now we get into trackball games. There's 98 trackball games. If you've never played American Horseshoes, please play it. It's a lot of fun. This one here is wrestling games. So there's 20 wrestling games in here. My favorites are obviously WrestleFest and Superstars. And now we're back to the main menu. So everything now is functioning in the front end. What we need to do is go into MAME and set up all of our controls and things like that. So what we want to do is go to Exit and press A. And then we want to go into the MAME folder. And we're going to launch MAME. Just initializing. There we go. Okay, so while in MAME, what we're going to want to do is go to Configure Options. And I'm just using my mouse right now. Double click. And we want to go to General Inputs. Double click. So we'll start with the user interface. If you're not going to have a keyboard connected, you're going to want to set your buttons up in here. So the one that I like to do is like, okay, do I want a pause button? You know, if you do, then this is where you would do it. I don't normally put a pause, but if you want to, that's perfectly fine. Again, like a MAME to get to config menu, tab, you can set any button that you so choose there. The ones that I recommend for sure is UI up, down, left, and right. So make sure you do that. And then there is this UI cancel. So this is to exit a game when you're done playing. So UI cancel, I use my right thumbstick like a button. So I'm going to double click and I'm going to push it like a button. There we go. UI select is for choosing something. I use my A button for that one when you're in the UI. And I mean, if you want to do save states, you can set up buttons for those. I don't use any of that, but it's completely up to you. What we'll do is return to previous menu. We'll go to player 1 controls. And again, so this is for in-game play. So you'll want to set whether you're using your thumbstick or your D-pad for up, down, left, right. Don't worry about any of these right here. For button 1, I mean, it's up to you. I use my A button. Button 2, I use my B button. Button 3, I use my X button. Button 4, I use my Y button. 5 is my left bumper, and 6 is my right bumper. I don't worry about 7 and all that because there's no games that I'm aware of that use those. But you can set up all of the other ones that you so choose. I'm not using any light guns or mouse or anything like that. So return to previous menu. And we'll want to go to other controls. And in here, you're going to want to set up one player start. So I use my start button. If you're using multiple players, you're going to want to use the start button on those controllers as well. And the coin button, I use my back button for my coin. Some other ones that are pretty cool in here that you might want to use is just like volume up and down. But I don't use it, but some people do. So you can set those as well. When you're all done setting your player controls, so player 1, this would be your 2, 3, 4, however many players you have, return to previous menu, and we'll go to save configuration, return to previous menu, and we can exit. You're going to want to do the same thing. So if we go into our Arcade HQ, there's a MAME32 folder. This one runs the Simpsons Tapper ROM hack. You're going to want to just open up MAME.exe and do the exact same steps we just did within the MAME64. And then when we launch up, there we go. I'm just going to mute. We could launch a game, and let's see if our exit hotkey is working. So I'm going to launch WrestleFest. Put in some coins. No bezels. Good reason for no bezels is a lot of people like them, a lot of people don't. I'll do a future video showing how you can add bezels if you so choose, and then we can go from there. But basically right now, all my buttons are working. I can choose people that I want to choose. I'm going to press my right thumbstick like a button to see if my UI cancel works. And I'm right back to the menu to choose a new game. So that was perfect. So before I end this video, I do want to just more shout outs. I did it at the beginning, but I want to do it again because I'm grateful for everyone's hard work. The Cinematics theme by Cali81. The Nostalgio theme, which I've modified, but the original was done by Malfacine. And the bezels that I've used to modify the Nostalgio theme are done by Orion's Angel, who will be linked in the description to his YouTube channel, as well as all of the video snaps and artwork that I've gotten from MU Movies. Make sure you check them out as well. That's going to be it for this one, guys. I really appreciate you watching. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, have a good day.